And welcome inside another edition, Justin Ayers Pod. All-star starters announced, plus a lot more. Joining me as always, it's my guy, Tucker Hickman. You should do these like once a month on the pod. Always great catching up. This is just a continuation of whatever I spam your texts like to. So I'm just glad other people can get in on this. How are we doing?
Doing good, dude. A lot going on. All-Star game coming up that I'll probably give some unpopular hot takes on, but oh well.
That's why you're here. You're gonna be bad cop, I'll be good cop, and we'll just tag team it, and then people will get on you for saying that wins are a stat. Um, all right. So we are taping this on Wednesday night. A couple hours ago, the MLB All Star starters were announced, not the starting pitchers. Um, right off the bat, we'll go big picture. AL versus NL. By now, I'm sure people know who's starting where, but we have some reactions to it. Which league do you think has the upper hand here?
It's tough to say because I think each league has their strengths. I think the AL pitching wise, a lot better, but I think the NL offensively across the board at almost every position, minus outfield with Aaron Judge, I think is way better in the NL.
Yeah, I struggle to find a spot where the AL, other than Judge, has the upper hand. And this, well, catcher, the big dumper, and Judge. I think the only two spots the AL are like, okay, we're gonna kick their ass here.
Yeah, I forget about him. But I think the NL overall has the advantage because I don't think the pitching really matters as much in an All Star game. The pitchers aren't going out there and throwing their best stuff. I mean, some of them might be and trying hard, but they're not trying to go out there and get hurt because all pitchers are feeble in today's day and age.
Well, it's such a bullpen. It's a matchup bullpen game too, where like you have all these guys, and the like starters will come in like the later half of the game, and then once you get to like the sixth inning on, it's everybody's like Mason Miller throwing 100. So it's like,
Yeah, and I think the good thing, at least for the NL two, at a lot of their positions, they have a lot more depth. Like you pull, Vladdy out of the game, and no offense to Paul Goldschmidt, but I mean, yeah,
well, maybe a Ronda will be there. I don't know. Some Rays will have to be in there at some point. So, um, yeah, I think. Oh, plus like NL shortstop is the most loaded. Like it's just there's guys left off of that. So we have a lot of takes on that. So we'll kind of run through here. Here's something I wanted to start with though. Francisco Lindor. He is your NL starter at shortstop. This is his first All-Star appearance since 2019, and this is the first time as a New York Met he's made the Midsummer Classic. I heard that stat, blew my mind. I was like, there's no chance that he's never made it. Well, as a Met, and no chance it's been since 2019. But I guess it speaks to, he's getting like killed in some of these either fan votes or just the position itself is too loaded.
I think it's a combination of both. And at the beginning of his contract, it's hard to, say Lindor underperformed. He was still hitting for power. But if you remember in those early days of the Mets, low average, a lot of strikeouts. And now you look at this year, even last year as well, cut down on the strikeouts a lot, hitting for a lot, the same amount of power, averages up, on bases up. So yeah, I think it kind of goes under the radar that those first couple of years in the Mets kind of underperformed a little bit.
Yeah, it's well, Jeff Passan had a comment on the ESPN broadcast where he said that last year was like Francisco Lindor's coming out party on the national stage. At first, he said it was his coming out party. I was like, what are you talking about, Jeff? He's been a stud for like a decade. But last year, like MVP runner up, still didn't make the All Star team somehow, 33 homers. Like, all the Mets made that great run because of him. So I kind of agreed with that, but it just still blew my mind the fact that, it's been so long since we've seen Francisco Lindor on a national midsummer classic stage like that. Um, I wanted to talk about Glaber
Well, yeah,
Torres, um, second base starter this year over Jackson Holiday. I wasn't surprised the fact that Glaber got it just because if you look at like the stats, like Glaber, like the only thing Jackson had on him was home runs by one. But do you think that the biggest miscarriage of justice is the fact that Brandon Lau wasn't even on the phase two voting?
yeah. When you look at AL second baseman, Wow was he should have been statistics wise your starting second baseman for the AL. I, as we know, huge Orioles fan, but objectively, Jackson Holiday as a leadoff hitter has a below average on base. Like he's just getting the love because he's son of a former MLB All Star, all that good stuff. First overall pick, but he should not have been in the voting for All Star contention. I don't think.
No, it's not over Brandon Lau. Brandon Lau leads all major league second basemen in homers and RBIs. He leads all AL second basemen in hits. The fact that he wasn't even like included, like it's great that the Orioles fans are showing out. They were making a late push to try to get Jackson Holiday in there. They got him to round 2 or whatever. But yeah, I don't. It was just a combination of things that went wrong there, and now we end up with. I mean, Glaber's good, but God, the fact that these Rays keep getting like stiffed on all of these like popularity fan vote things, it's really pissing me off.
Yeah, and objectively, looking at Glaber, I think even looking back over his past couple years in New York, the power numbers home run wise were down, but he was still hitting doubles, hitting for a decent average, decent on base. I think that dude just needed a change of scenery. He's a really good second baseman, and it looks like he's actually having fun playing baseball now. So I think he just needed a change of scenery. I'm happy he's in. I have no issues with it.
What do you think about your AL starting shortstop Jacob Wilson from just the Athletics, not the Oakland A's, over Bobby Witt Jr.? That really stood out to me for this one was, and also Wilson got it. It was 52 to 48 was the percentage breakdown, so he barely squeaked over Bobby Witt Jr. What happened to the Royals voting block? Do you remember in 2015 they had 8 guys leading at one point in the All-Star fan vote? We almost had an entire Royals team as the AL All-Star team that year. The Royals fans are like great, like they show out for their guys. How did we let the rookie from a AAA ballpark in Northern California beat your guy? That just blows my mind still.
Yeah, it's a travesty, but I think it just speaks to how boring and stagnant the Royals are as an organization. I can make the argument that obviously Witt, I think he should have been your AL starting shortstop, but I would have even put, I know he's on the IL now, but Jeremy Pena above Wilson. His average is only about 13 points lower, more stolen bases, more RBIs, more runs, more homers in a more difficult ballpark.
That's a good point. Yeah, Jeremy Pena, very sneaky. Like, when you think of like all-star snubs, like there's like ones that come to mind over him. But yeah, I mean Wilson, like the average is insane, but there was a point where he didn't have a walk at all. Like he's a very interesting player, but usually when like one team has like one guy who is like their guy, like Bobby Wood Jr. is the Royals offense. And we'll talk more about the
Yeah.
Royals offense here in a second. But when you have like one guy that you would think would just have all the fan like energy funneled into, and you can't even beat out a guy from the Athletics, like something's wrong.
Well, I think the only thing that's going for Jacob Wilson is I think he's winning over votes of the people nationally who were voting on that. I think they just think, oh, this is a cool story. A guy where in the game, all everybody cares about is power. The dude was hitting like in the 370s at one point. It's a good story. People want to vote for that.
I
I
guess.
get it.
Yeah, it's crazy to me that BWJ. I mean, BWJ is not having a outlandish year like he was last year, but he's still. I mean, he deserved to be a starter. Whatever.
Him and Gunner, their numbers are both down from last year.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
It's them young 24-year-old shortstops struggling a little bit.
imagine if we drafted BWJ instead of Adley in the first round that year.
We did be the best team in baseball. Hadley's a worthless catcher.
Speaking of O's, how about our guy Ryan O'Hearn getting the All-Star nod as the designated hitter? I just love this story so much, and getting to know him a little bit through having him on the pod a couple times. Like, this is so good. Like, we got one right here. He's such a good guy. He went from riding the bench in Kansas City. He got DFA'd a couple times. He got traded for cash considerations, goes to Baltimore, has a couple really solid seasons, solid to good seasons. I mean, this year he's just lighting the world on fire. High average. He's playing every day. Found at home in Baltimore. But yeah, I'm just so happy for our guy O'Hearn.
Yeah, happy that he got the. He arguably should have got it last year. I know he was the runner. I think he was the runner up last year. I can't remember in the All Star voting. I think I know he just missed it. He was a finalist, but
Mm.
yeah, he deserves it, and it's a good little send off right before we trade him for a team's 14th best farm pitcher. So it's awesome.
All's well that ends well. Yeah, we'll get some 17-year-old that was signed out of the Dominican Republic out of one of those like training camp things. Um,
Like Dean
who,
Kramer for Manny Machado. It's great.
yeah, that was oh god, that still hurts me. Um, all right, the last note that I had that we can do whatever like observations you had from the All Star voting reactions was just like Javi Baez gets the nod in the AL outfield, which great for him. What a story! Last couple years he's been one of the worst hitters in baseball. This year he just hasn't played the outfield since June 1st. That's just a little side note I want to throw in there. But he gets the nod. It's him, Riley Green, and obviously Judge. Um, Justice for Byron Buxton, I think, was my biggest takeaway. Like Javi's a great story, but Buxton has him in every category except for batting average, which most people say doesn't really matter. That stood out to me was what happened to Byron Buxton.
Buxton is having an insane year. And if Judge and Raleigh weren't having the kind of years they're having, even right now, I think Buxton should be like your third finisher for MVP voting. Like he's having an insanely good year. He's staying healthy. He's playing almost. I think he had that concussion where him and Correa bumped into each other a couple weeks ago. But other than that, staying healthy, the dude's mashing. When he's healthy, the dude is awesome. And him not being on the All Star team is a travesty.
Buxton has one more full WAR higher than Baez. He's got 19 home runs to Javi's 9. His OPS plus is 26 points higher. Like, do you think people were buying in on the fact that like this is a great redemption arc, comeback story for Javi? Do you think he was catching like the Detroit Tigers buzz? Because I thought about this because it's like a popularity contest for like the biggest markets. Like the freaking Dodgers had every one of their players felt like they were a finalist. But also like the hottest teams in baseball, like their fans are so like jazzed up about them that like we just talked about the Royals 10 years ago when they had 8 guys on there. But do you think it was like the perfect storm of everything for Javi?
Yeah, I think it's like the same reason Wilson got, the first place votes over Witt. It's a feel good story. The dude struggled for 3 to 4 years now and a huge bounce back year. Everybody's happy for him.
Yeah,
That's all it
it's
is.
I get it, but there's just so many Tigers in the All Star game. Maybe it's just jarring to see. I mean, they're obviously the best team in the AL and probably will represent the league in the World Series, but like, there's so many Tigers
Yeah.
and
And
Scoobles. Yeah,
good for them. Good for them.
good for them. We wish them well, as Tim Dillon would say. Um, you had something that I thought was interesting, just like guys that like missed the cut in snubs, the like NL third base.
Oh, yeah. Eugenio, I always butcher his first name, but Suarez at third base. Like, how is that dude not one of the top vote getters? It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean he's leading, like he's crushing every time I look, he's hitting a home run. But
But
that also is
Dodgers big market. You got Max Muncy with his like 200 batting average and 12 home runs as your second place vote getter. Like disgusting,
I,
disgusting.
I mean, Pajes over James Wood, like Ellie De La Cruz didn't get any love. Jonathan Aranda from the Rays didn't get any love. So like the fan vote thing, it's fun. I get it, but it does suck when like the guys whose stats are like head and shoulders above the other guys just get no love.
Yep, which is why we need to cancel the fan vote. It needs to be outlawed. Shouldn't be a thing.
I like how that's the next logical conclusion for you is just like just get rid of it.
The people don't know what they want, Justin.
We have
They
to
need
tell them what they
they
want.
need to be told what they want.
Yes, finally, you're seeing it our way. You had something that like I thought was interesting. MLB is one of the few sports that like everybody gets a rep in the All-Star game. I don't know if any of the other leagues do that. Like Pro Bowl certainly doesn't. Or no, does everybody get a Pro Bowler?
I don't think so. Maybe they do. I don't think the NBA does it. Can you imagine seeing Jordan Poole from the Washington Wizards in the All Star game for the NBA?
No, not every NFL
Disgusting.
team has a player represented in the Pro Bowl. It's fan, player, and coach votes.
Oh, that's
Um,
crazy. It's merit based.
mm, Shocking. Yeah, participation trophies over here in the MLB All-Star game. Um, I I kind of like it though, man. It's weird because as an Orioles fan growing up when I was a kid, they would get one rep every year. It would be like Ty Wigginton, Aubrey Huff, Brian Roberts. You're like, okay, sick. These are like we get a guy. They'll be on the reserves. They'll come in like the seventh inning, and I'll be happy for like 20 minutes. So I get it. It's not great.
You think like Rockies fans are going to watch the All Star game so they can watch their middling reliever with a 2.5 ERA throw an inning?
Yeah,
No.
Jake Bird.
And
Goodman can get it.
and I got to give full transparency. I'm not really a big fan of the All Star game either way. Really, for any sport, I don't normally watch the All Star game because I simply don't care. Home Run Derby
No.
also don't care. I don't care.
Baseball.
It means
Baseball's is
nothing
the
to me.
best.
It used to be the best when the All Star game would decide home field advantage.
I miss that,
That's when it was good.
honestly. That was so
When
weird.
Pete when Pete Rose was trucking his catcher friend at home plate, that's when the All Star game was good. Now, no.
You can't like NBA All-Star game is unwatchable. That Pro Bowl, they play flag football. Like hockey, it's weird. Now it's Four Nations, which is different. But like baseball, you can't half-ass it. You can't take shit off. You have to go out there and compete. Like that's why it was the best. And I honestly, I do, old man, I do kind of miss when it mattered because that was like the dumbest thing ever, but it was so much fun.
Yeah, I get why the players want the home field advantage decided by the All Star game, but most of the times, if you're one of those teams who makes it to the World Series, you probably have 4 or 5 representatives on your team at the All Star game. Go win the game.
Yeah.
Like, I do not care.
Um, the next thing I had was just like it's award season. Obviously, it's coming up at some point. I think in the next couple of months, more people will be more locked in on this. You had a point that like there's for some of these big awards in baseball, there's going to be a certain amount of voter fatigue where it can't just be Otani every single year for NL MVP. It can't be Aaron Judge every single year for AL MVP. Um, do you feel like that's the case? Like, and do you think any of these other awards, I mean, maybe some of the pitching ones, but like, are we going to see some true like heated battles for them down the stretch?
I don't think so. What I fear is that some of these awards, specifically most of your MVPs, it's almost kind of getting to the point where it's like what you see in the NBA, where it's Jokic is clearly the best player, but no, it won't get the MVP. Or like back in the day when Shaq should have won the MVP, but they gave it to like Steve Nash over him. Insane. But like I get the argument for Cal Raleigh in the AL. He's a catcher doing it in a more difficult ballpark, but like Judge and Otani in both the AL and NL are just so far above everybody else. It's not even close.
They're both minus 1,000 in the odds on this ESPN thing I'm looking at right now. It's like Cal Raleigh's plus 450. That he's like the next closest. PCA is second in the NL MVP. He's 12-1 odds. But yeah, it's kind of just like it's like okay, they're just the de facto like okay, whatever. Let's finish the season so they can go get their trophy, or whatever, at an awards ceremony on a Tuesday night in the middle of November. But Cy Young is a little closer though. Cy Young's a little different. It's Scooble and Skeens are the favorites right now in the AL and NL, but Crochet's nipping at Scooble's heels. Hunter Brown, like Wheeler and Webb in the NL, like that might be the one you have to pay the most attention to, I think.
Yeah, I think the NL Cy Young is going to be a lot closer. I don't know what's been going on with Skeens, but his last couple starts, he's like struggling to even make it to the fifth inning. Strikeouts are down. ERA, whip, all your other metrics you'd want to look at, still really good. But there's some dudes there in the NL who could definitely catch him. Wheeler's one of them. Yamamoto's got a shot. in LA. Like I think the NL one could be close. And if Scuba has a couple bad starts and Crochet keeps dealing and striking dudes out, that argument could be made as well.
Jacob
Scuba in a
DeGrom, 12
much,
to 1.
yeah, yeah. And those dudes like Scuba is playing in a extremely pitcher friendly park, and Crochet is doing it in Boston, where righties can hit pop ups out the left field off of him. So I
Boy,
take stuff like that. I take ballpark factor into account as well. You know,
you like to look at the numbers. You're a real Brian Kenny sabermetrician over here.
I think the closest awards race, I think AL Rookie of the Year, I think Jacob Wilson, unless he bats like 100 down the stretch, is,
Yeah,
and
that's his.
I think All Star voting is a good indicator as well. Like he's going to be your AL Rookie of the Year. I think I know the odds we looked at. I think NL Rookie of the Year, Mizorowski, after 3 starts, was the favorite. I think people are buying into the betting hype on him too soon. I think I think the guy who was 22 to 1 odds, Augustine Ramirez down in Miami, I think he's your NL Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, 22 to 1. They have Chase Burns at plus 900 above him. So, and we just watched what we'll talk about Chase Burns here in a second, but like Chase Burns just got like a nuclear implosion meltdown in Boston. So I don't know. He had his ERA for the game was 100. So I think we should probably pump the brakes on that.
I never like pitchers in the Rookie of the Year voting because they have a couple bad starts and not looking so good for them anymore.
That's a good point. Um, yeah, it'll be fun to watch down the stretch for some of them. Okay, let's talk about Chase Burns. Number two pick, 2024 MLB draft, electric debut against the Yankees. I remember when that game was on, I was texting you nonstop. I was like, he just struck another one out, and he just struck another one out. He had 5 innings, only gave up 3 runs. The fastball was insane. The slider, it was the best.
Yeah,
Second start out
we had
against
our
the Reds.
strikeout. The strikeout counter was going. We had our
Yeah,
own in our text thread. We are putting the little K's up every
it's
time.
just like another one. Oh, he did it
Yeah,
again.
yeah.
Against the Yankees too, which is crazy. Then he played the Red Sox the next time. 1/3 of an inning, 7 runs, 5 earned. It was hard to watch, especially because he was on your fantasy team. So I apologize for telling you to pick him up. But I
Yeah,
did.
he's a bust. They should cut him.
But because of that meltdown, people were like, I mean, we just saw him the first time. He was good/great. And now that was the worst thing I've ever seen. So people are theorizing on the interweb that he was tipping his pitches. In fact, the Reds have admitted that he probably was tipping. I looked on Twitter and people were like, the glove was different. The shoulders were tipped a different way. His leg kick was in more when he's throwing the slide. It was like the Zapruder film level breakdown of the outing against the Red Sox was crazy. How shitty do you think that has to feel for Chase Burns right now? You went from the top of the mountain to like everybody with an iPhone is like saying that you're bad now.
Yeah, but at least he's already gone out there and proved it in his debut, so he knows he can do it. What I worry about more, and I have no clue what goes on in the mind of a pitcher, but if he was tipping his pitches now in his next couple starts, it's going to always be like a little thing in the back of his head that he's going to be thinking about the entire time, which could affect performance. So I'm curious to see how these next couple starts play out for him. So we'll see.
I was watching some stuff. I think maybe it was MLB Network. They were like the Red Sox. Alex Cora famously on the Astros during their whole thing. He's great at picking up tips, and he after the game was asked about it, and he was like, "No, we didn't have a tip on him. We just had a really good game plan." It's like, okay, buddy, sure. And there weren't trash cans in the dugout then.
Yeah, he could have brought that to Boston. Who knows? Maybe that's why they performed so well. I mean, you never know.
I mean, Burns was throwing some shit right down the middle, so like that probably doesn't help the case.
Yeah, but second start, I wouldn't worry about it too much. Like I said, the first start proves he can do it against one of the best teams. So I think he can bounce back.
Yeah, you're right. The next outing, like that's going to be all eyes are on him, all the pressure. I mean, obviously, you're a big league pitcher, you have to deal with pressure, but like this time, it's like you got to be so scared that like your glove being open just a little bit more or out a little bit from your body. It's like there it is. He's doing the tipping thing again.
Yeah.
So, this got me thinking though, because MLB Network put out a graphic, and the NL Central, man. For a while, both the AL and NL Central were the weakest divisions in baseball. sucked for the Heartland because they were getting, all the East and the West Coast were eating their lunch, but it was Skeens, Hunter Green, Andrew Abbott, Mizorowski, Chase Burns, NL Young, electric starting pitchers. Could we foresee a day where the NL Central is the most exciting and most competitive division in baseball?
Well, I think you're conflating competitive with excitement. You mentioned all the really good starting pitchers, the young guys. Other than Paul Skeens, he's maybe the only one that people will tune into a game to watch. But look at your elite teams, your Yankees, your Dodgers, whatever team you want to throw out there. People aren't tuning in to watch the Yankees to watch Max Fried pitch or the Dodgers to watch Yamamoto. They're tuning in for the excitement of Judge, Otani, Freeman, Betts, Will Smith, Paul Goldschmidt, Bellinger, Chisholm. Pitchers do not make teams exciting. They make them good. Great pitching staffs can take you really far, but it's not going to make them any more exciting to watch if you're like the Royals with a really good rotation, but you can't hit for shit.
But what's the first thing I always ask when we're talking about a game is who's pitching that night? That's the first thing everybody asks about what, the matchup is like, okay, who's on the bump? And when you have a Mizorowski versus Skeens matchup, I mean, good. I mean, that game sucked because it was on like a Wednesday at noon. That's just the most baseball thing ever. But like, that was exciting. That got the people going.
See, I can counter that with I want to know who's on the bump because I want to know if one team can hit 5 home runs and put up 10 runs. Like when you used to see Patty Corbin penciled in there like 3 years ago.
Come on. Leave Patty out of this, man. That was a cheap shot. You know it.
Or like when I see, like beginning of this year, Charlie Morton on the bump, I'm like, oh, don't have to watch the game tonight. The Orioles are losing.
Yeah, but like the pitcher impacts every play. He's it's like the quarterback, the ball's in his hands every single play. So I think this is just the start because it starts with the starting pitching for the NL Central. They already have some young, exciting guys, Churio, Ellie De La Cruz. There's guys on these teams that like can hit a little bit. I think this is the building block. I think 5 years from now we're gonna be saying, you know what, NL Central class of the league.
If they can learn how to get some elite hitters in that division, I think so. But
I mean,
until
the
they get some elite hitters, like you said, it makes them
PCA,
competitive.
Kyle Tucker.
And the Cubs are exciting. And no one gives a shit about their pitching. It's all about Kyle Tucker, PCA, and Suzuki.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
Like if you put two, maybe three above average hitters on the Pirates, it's such a more exciting team.
They just have an offense. I mean, they've won like 7 in a row now, so like this might be a moot point, but they just have an offense full of like quad A players, and I don't
Joey
want any
Barts, a lineup full of Joey Barts.
I don't want any smoke, but Tommy Pham, please don't hurt me. Um, yeah, I don't know. I just think that like this is the tides are turning. This is just the beginning. Look at the freaking Reds, man. The Reds are like stockpiling young electric players who will probably all walk in free agency, but that's
Yeah.
besides the point.
And they've been a 500 team for what, 10 years?
They're 2.5 out of a wild card spot right now, though. So does that change your mind at all?
No.
Okay.
They have no World Series aspirations. They do not excite me at all.
They're in a tough market, man. They play in Kentucky, basically.
Sell the team. Sell
No,
the team.
that's Pittsburgh. Um, all right, let's talk Kansas City Royals because I was going through some of these numbers earlier and it blew my mind how tough they are offensively. They have the 5th worst team OPS. They have the fewest runs scored in baseball, but they have the 3rd fewest runs allowed pitching wise. They just get no help for their starting rotation at all. So a couple other stats for you. They have 58 home runs this year. They're on pace for 109. Last year they had 170. So something's not right. It hurts because like we saw the tides returning in Kansas City where, a couple years ago, 100 losses. Last year made that great run to the postseason. But you look at them hit right now, man. It is like they don't know what it's like that meme. It's like, I don't know what any of this shit is, and I'm fucking scared. That's what the Royals at the plate feel like right now.
Yeah, just abysmal offense. You got to give their GM props. I mean, it's quite innovative to think that over the course of a couple of years, like guys like Hunter Renfro and Jonathan India were what really could have turned that team around. Those
They
are
tried.
innovative signings right there. It's like bringing in Tyler O'Neill.
I give the GM. I think the GM, like, I don't know if they anticipated getting good as fast as they did. Maybe that was their problem.
I think it's all lucky. I mean, I think they just signed some old starting pitchers who were pitching really great, and yeah, they were just kind of thrust into winning and didn't really expect it.
2023, they lost 106 games. 2024, they won 86 games. And then this year, they're six under 500. But yeah, it's well, there's a couple things going on with the offense, too. It's like they called Caglione up. Caglione is supposed to be the savior
Mm-hmm.
now, apparently. Dude's hitting a buck 50. Like, I had a game for you. I don't know if you looked at this beforehand, but we're going to play a game called Real Royal or Fake Player from a Video Game. So I have a couple guys. All right, John Rave. Is that a real Royal or a video game player?
It's a real Royal.
Okay. Yes, it is.
Was
It
that
is a
right?
real. Yes. It's my favorite name in baseball. John Rave. Dude gets after it probably.
He sounds like a right fielder,
Yeah, he is an outfielder.
like Jake Cave.
I do like Jake Cave. Tyler Tolbert.
It sounds like a relief pitcher. I'm gonna say that's real.
That's a real one. He's a utility guy.
Uh,
Billy Frazier.
no, not real.
No, that's from MLB The Show. Pedro Velasquez.
That's your relief pitcher.
Nope, that's also from MLB The Show. But these sound like Royals, especially Billy Frazier.
If you look like every Caglione, like I'm not reading too much into that. Like he's only played like 20 games. I'm not going to do to him what I did to Jackson Holiday last year and every other Orioles prospect that we call up who can't hit. I mean, Roman Anthony, he's hitting like 200, Caglione 150. Like these dudes just nobody's hitting when they get caught up right away anymore. So I don't blame him for their struggles, but it's like every dude they hype up that they work up through their pipeline and promote to the big leagues, they never hit. Like I remember when MJ Melendez was supposed to be like the next big thing. Dude's a like 190 career hitter. Can't hit.
Do you know what he's hitting this year?
182.
0.085.
So close. Only
So
100 points off.
MJ Melendez had like the minor league home run title one year. He hit like 40 tanks in the minors.
Yeah.
They just it's like I said, like they got good way too fast. The starting pitching is crushing it. But you look at some of these offenses or some of these guys on offense, it's like Michael Massey's OPS plus is 35. Like they need a whole new outfield. They're not just like one bat away from being good. They need like four bats. How are you supposed to fix this?
Perez, I think he's, you saw signs of it last year too. He only catches like every other game now. He misses a ton of time. Your only like solid players, everyday guys, is Michael Garcia and Bobby Witt.
Yep.
Pasquantino, he's good. But other than that, dude, like you said, the entire outfield, like who are you?
You need a whole new outfield. That's what I'm thinking. Like at the trade deadline, like usually you'll pick up a bat here. You might get like some bench guys there, but like this is a problem they're gonna have to address. They're a small market team. I don't know if they're gonna be able to spend in free agency. They're gonna have to figure it out. I don't know what their plan is gonna be, but like John Rave is not the answer. No offense.
No, and the good thing for them is they have enough pitching where they can trade away a couple of them, and it won't hurt them too much. I don't think. I mean, obviously, you got like some untouchable, like they're not trading Reagans or
Cameron.
I don't even think like Lugo would move either.
No, some of the older guys I think they should hold on to, but they have like Noah Cameron's been lights out. Like when Reagans comes back, obviously he's good, but I honestly thought the Jonathan India move, I was like, there's your leadoff guy. There's your spark plug. Hasn't been doing it.
They pick up Ryan O'Hearn. We'll take, the what's his name, Noah Cameron, and I'd be cool with that. O'Hearn can play right field,
It would be interesting to see him go back to Kansas City after, riding the pine there for like half a decade.
and it would make
Um,
me feel better. Although I don't wish this upon him, it would make me feel better if he hit like 200 after he goes back there.
oh, don't say that. You don't mean that.
I don't mean that. I wouldn't wish that on him.
All right, let's do a couple last like list type things. Ever play a game? It's called Gun to Your Head. You need a starting pitcher, a relief pitcher, and a closer that you trust with your life to win you a game. Um, I got this idea from Dan Plesac, MLB Network. Shout out. I'll let you go first though, and I'll give you mine. Who are your three guys you trust with your life? Gun to your head.
Starting pitcher, give me Garrett Cole. Reliever, Randy Rodriguez out in San Fran. And closer, Andres Munoz. Gun to my head. Those are my guys.
Garrett Cole is inactive right now, so you might bang.
Oh, that doesn't count. They have to be active.
I mean, like, yeah.
Well, if I can't go with him, I would go with Chris Hill. He's also inactive.
Interesting.
Shit. He's also inactive. He's on the IL.
Yeah. Anybody else hurt?
He'll be back. He counts.
I like that. See, yeah, you could have went a couple different ways for the starter. Obviously, like Skubal is the best pitcher in baseball, but like I went a different route for my three guys. The three guys I trust with my life implicitly. I'm going Jacob DeGrom, Jason Adam in San Diego, and Josh Hader.
Yeah, I'm cool with all of those. I'm cool with all those. DeGrom, his current season's helping him. His last couple of years have not helped him, but how he's pitching currently, I'll give you that. Although his stats are being padded because he's had two of those against the Orioles. So
Okay, so you're saying they don't count? Um,
no,
he's giving Skubal a run for his money and all these stats like batting average against and like ERA. It's like they're neck and neck, but battle tested, still throws hard. Jason Adam, man, like go look at some of his like baseball savant stuff, like elite swing and miss, like 96 percentile whiff rate this year. It was 99% last year. And then also Josh Hader has yet to blow save this year. So if it comes down to it, gun to my head, give me DeGrom, Adam, and Hader.
that's what I wanted to go for with starting pitching too. I could have gone like your Skubal or Crochet, but I wanted to pick a dude with a little more experience. So whether Cole was the right answer or Sale, both of those guys have that. They pitched in huge games, consistent numbers. And then with my relievers, I went a little bit more less experienced, but more dominant. Randy Rodriguez, it's his sophomore year. Dude's got a .74 ERA, like a .7 WHIP, a 52 strikeout to 7 walk ratio, do like 36 innings in San Fran. San Fran's got a deep bullpen. And this
Wow.
dude just kind of gets lost in the sauce in there. And then Munoz, great whip, great ERA, great strikeouts. Walks are a little high, but the dude had like a 0 ERA until like his 20th appearance. It was insane.
Yeah, that was crazy. Randy Rodriguez, I was not familiar with your game. Your baseball savant is a work of art, except for like the bottom couple like ground ball percentage and stuff like that. But like top of the thing is like K rate 99, expected ERA 99. Randy.
Yeah. Only his second year too. He's only 25 years old. Munoz too. I think he's 26. Like these dudes are going to be around for a while. Munoz was one of those guys who like he was thought of as a closer for like 3 years before Seattle was finally like,
Yep.
yeah, we should just trade away Seawald and let him finally close games. And dude hasn't disappointed. His highest ERA over the last 5 years was I think a 2.94.
He's got the stuff. Yeah, he was just being blocked. It's kind of like Suarez in San Diego.
Yeah, it's crazy. Dominant.
Last up, guys that need more love. So this got me thinking after like all the all-star stuff, all the all-star snubs. There's just like guys that like are either on small market teams, they're on bad teams, they have a teammate that like overshadows them and everything. So we wanted to, take a second, do a little PSA, give some guys some love around the league. I'll let you go first. Who needs more love?
The first guy I want to throw out, not really a small market team, big team, superstar players who he gets overshadowed by. But that's Geraldo Perdomo out in Arizona. Stats wise, dude's a top five shortstop in the game. I think he's top five in hits, RBIs, runs, decent stolen base numbers, really good defense. But of course, he gets overshadowed by Carroll, the big name pitchers you got there who are all having crappy years, but whatever. And then obviously Suarez hitting all the home runs. Perdomo just kind of flies under the radar in that lineup.
I like that. Here's one for you. This is a small market team and also a bad team. It's Augustin Ramirez, the Miami Marlins rookie catcher, DH, only 23 years old. Maybe it's just because the Marlins are just perpetually, in the last place in the NL East. But this guy, if you watch him play, especially the last month, the dude is swinging it. Like the last 15 games, he's batting 310. He's got like almost 500 slugging on the year. I look and, they want him in the lineup every single day, which is interesting. Maybe it's just, out of necessity. Maybe it's because they believe in the bat, but he's started slightly more games at designated hitter this year than behind the plate. But if you have him in fantasy baseball, it doesn't matter because you're getting, almost a full workload out of a guy at a catcher spot. Yeah, we just talked about him earlier. He should be giving the NL Rookie of the Year a run for its money, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think the Marlins have to be really happy, especially now that the Marlins have some good pieces they can build around moving forward. Some decent pitchers like Yuri Perez, Edward Cabrera. You got Stowers, Norby, and Ramirez. Those are some decent starting points. So good for them.
Yeah, no, and Xavier Edwards. Remember we did that whole thing on him before the season. Dude's contact
Yeah.
hitter machine. Did you have another one?
Yeah, my second one, my theme is guys who just kind of get overshadowed by dudes in their lineups. I'm going to your team, the Washington Nationals. I'm just going to throw out CJ Abram. He got no love for All-Star voting, but decent on base, 285 hitter, hits for power. Defense pretty good. I don't want to, boost him up too much, but you got dudes like James Wood in that lineup who's stealing all the limelight. Dylan Cruz hyped up number one overall pick. CJ Abrams hasn't been getting enough love, and I just wanted to call him out.
Aw. Yeah, I'm looking shortstop as a whole in the big leagues is just so loaded, but he's seventh in MLB shortstops in WAR, 2.7.
Yeah.
12
And
bombs.
that's the thing. It's such a loaded position, especially in the NL side. Like I said, for All-Star voting, no love, nothing. But if it was rewind, 5, maybe 10 years ago, dude would be an All-Star easily, be in Silver
100%.
Slugger contention. But oh well.
I have a guy, and this is somebody who I've learned a lot about here recently. And he's on the IL right now, but it is Yankees reliever Fernando Cruz. Kind of a middle reliever setup type guy. His story is incredible. Really quick, he's 35 now, but he was drafted in '07 by the Royals as an infielder, flamed out. He converted to a pitcher in 2011. Then he spent until 2022 playing indie ball, playing overseas. The Reds brought him in, and he was traded to the Yankees for Jose Trevino. His splitter, it's the most disgusting pitch I've ever seen. It's probably one of the top pitches in baseball. He throws it 60% of the time and guys hit a $138 off it. When you see him come into the game, you know what he's throwing and you still can't touch it. He is one of the most underrated relief pitchers in baseball. He's one of my favorite pitchers to watch. And that's big of me because he's on the Yankees. So I want some credit just for, saying that the Yankees have somebody worth watching.
Yeah, and the crazy thing about the Yankees is just how good their pitching's been this year. I still think they need another bullpen arm, but you look at them closing out a game, being able to turn 7, 8, and 9 to Cruz, Weaver, and then if Williams is on, he's still Devin Williams. I mean, that's a great back into your bullpen right there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just, middle relievers, I think, are probably as a position group, probably the most overlooked and underappreciated in all of baseball. Just because, who cares? They're pitching the sixth inning, whatever. But Yeah, I am infatuated watching Fernando Cruz drop a splitter in there and guys swing over it, can't touch it. So, um, yeah, give him some more love. I don't know what that would look like, but maybe this pod is a great first step in that.
Yeah, exactly. We can all get on the Fernando Cruz trade, but
Yeah,
he's a Yankee, so I mean,
who gives a shit? Yeah, fuck him.
we don't like him. I hope he finishes with a 7 ERA
Yeah.
and goes back to indie ball.
Exactly. Dude, like like 2011 to 2022, like just still trying to figure it out and make the dream work. Like it's not like I would have given that dream up a long time ago. Like you hear about some of these guys, like he never gave up on his dream. He spent 20 years, whatever, trying to figure it out. It's like, no, man, I don't have that kind of time. I would get a job.
Yeah, and now he's pitching on the Yankees in the biggest market and balling, and you got to feel good for a dude like that because he clearly loves the game. So it's great to see him
100%.
succeed.
Yeah, your boy would be, renting your car at Enterprise for you. It's like, ooh, would you like to upgrade to a more premium sedan for 75 more dollars? We can get you in an Acura. That's what I would be doing.
Yeah, that could have been him, but he stuck to
That
the
could have been
grind,
him.
and
He could have been upgrading you to an Acura. Instead, he's just balling out.
he'd be selling life insurance right now. But no,
I think insurance is just the catch-all for all flamed out baseball players.
I think it's just the catch-all for all flamed out individuals in any profession.
It might be the most like could always just go sell insurance.
Yeah, especially life insurance. You can just prey on
Oh,
the older folk.
to get you in a term life policy. Kidding me?
Yeah,
Um, all right. Well, this is a lot of fun. MLB All Star Game coming up. It's my favorite week of the year.
I won't be
Growing up,
watching.
I you won't be watching. I will be watching. I will be glued in. MLB Network. I'll be watching batting practice. I'll watch the red carpet show where Greg Amsinger tries out a different fit this year. It'll be great. It'll be electric. So, can't wait for that to happen. Thanks as always, and we'll see you again next month for Justin Tucker 8.
Whoa,